You now abandoning covering wars in Iraq and Afghanistan?
I'm focused mostly on Afghanistan, and I will go back to Afghanistan this year.
So I hope to see you in Afghanistan rather than Thailand.
Yeah, me too, actually. Although I love to be here more than... It's very rough living in Afghanistan. Often I'm sleeping on the ground.
How long were you in Afghanistan the last time?
This last trip was 3 months long.
And you were covering the war in Afghanistan for some publications?
Well, my work is picked up worldwide by many different outlets, a huge amount. I don't even know, because I usually let people republish.
So what do? You report on your blog and sell your stories as well?
Usually I don't sell the stories. Usually I just give them away for free. And I'm supported by donations from readers.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I was reading this about you being supported by donations from readers. Does it actually happen?
Yes, it's very effective. It works. I've been doing it now for more than 5 years, going on 6 years.
How does it work?
Well, at first I went and covered Iraq for about 7 or 8 months out of my own pocket, maybe 7 months. And then it was very expensive. It cost me about $1,000 a day to operate over there. So I said, you know, this is too expensive, but I don't want to work for anybody because then I won't be independent. And I don't want to take advertisements because then I'm dependent on the advertisers. I put up a PayPal button on my website and people responded. And so they've been very generous. It's helped me to, you know, buy this top-of-the-line gear. Everything I have is the top of the line, and it's because the readers have supported me. They want an independent voice. I've seen the same response from Thailand. I'm not asking for donations from Thai people, but they have been very supportive in seeing an independent voice.
This is how you've been covering both the Iraqi wars and Afghanistan wars.
Yeah, Iraq, Afghanistan, and also a little bit in the Philippines. So, yeah, it's completely on reader support. Also, I had a book that did quite well last year, so that was also helpful.
So what you do is you do your stories, your videos, your writings, and you put them on your website. People read them and they like it and they send you money.
Yep, quite often that's the case.
How much normally?
It can vary anywhere from $10 to $1,000. It can vary.
Because they can read something independent.
Yeah, they want...
Different from the New York Times, different from what they see on CNN, right? That's the whole idea.
Yeah, and I have so much more flexibility doing it like this. I see major correspondents over in Iraq and Afghanistan, and often they can't respond as quickly as I can because they have to clear things through their editors. And so, let's say if there's a time difference between Afghanistan and New York or London, they have to wait until the editor's actually there and then ask for permission to do something. Often it's too late.
And here the New York Times said you have spent more time embedded with combat units than any other journalist in Iraq. Is that true?
I believe it's true. And that came from the Army, actually. The Army confirmed that to the New York Times. It's been said that I've spent more time embedded with combat forces than any journalist in American history. I do not know if that's true, but it probably is. It makes for a good story anyway.
Yeah. By being embedded with the American units, combat units, you would be seen as being too close to the military side of the story.
Yeah, some people certainly accuse me of that. Again, because I was a soldier, and I have family and friends who are soldiers.
You started off as a soldier.
I was a soldier.
A Green Beret, too?
Yes, sir.
Right.
I am biased, again, towards the soldiers in their favor, so I have to admit that to my readers and not pretend that I'm not. And the readers accept that when they understand. That does not stop me from reporting critically, which I've often done. And I've been saying we're losing the war. But saying we're losing the war does not mean that you're anti-soldier. It means that you're saying truthfully that it's going wrong. I've been reporting since 2006 that we're losing the war in Afghanistan.
Yeah?
Yes, sir.
And were you proven right or wrong so far?
Correct.
So far, you're correct?
Yes.
And you think the war in Afghanistan is lost?
I do not believe that it's lost, but I believe that it's being lost.
Why?
Many reasons. Part of it is we've responded too late. We've burned a lot of time focused on Iraq and other things before admitting that we have growing problems in Afghanistan. And so we've lost a substantial amount of support. In the meantime, the enemy has become more proficient, more competent, better armed, and they're more organized.
The Taliban a few years ago seemed to be on the decline, and suddenly, for some reasons, they have come back. Why?
They're slowly growing, like, you know...
Why didn't the American military establishment notice that?
You know, that's a good question, and it could have been some denial. For instance, when I took a break from Iraq in 2006, I went to Afghanistan expecting to see that we had won the war or were winning
I was thinking the same way a few years ago.
Yeah, and I went there and I said, goodness, I mean, we're losing the war here. And I wrote 12 stories in 2006 saying that we were losing the war. What I mentioned to you earlier, watch the people. Are the people cooperating? Is the amount of information that they're giving to the Army and the police increasing or decreasing? That's a crucial thing to watch for. Because if the information is increasing, that's a good indicator that you're doing well. If the information is decreasing, that's storm clouds. I mean, that's a very bad sign. And the information clearly was decreasing.
You're talking about human intelligence here.
People coming up and just giving you information. And so when you see that information decreasing, that's a warning sign. And so that was what I was sensing in Afghanistan. Information was decreasing. Clearly, the enemy was becoming more proficient. They were becoming more organized. The people were becoming, not all people, but many people were becoming mistrustful of us. They were accusing us of breaking promises, which we were breaking promises. You know, we often, you know, managing expectations is important. When people think everything's going to be good next year, and it's not, they lose faith in you. So it's important to tell them the truth, always. If it's going to take 5 years, say it's going to take 5 years. If it's going to take 25, say it's going to take 25.
So you are not very hopeful of the situation in Afghanistan as of now?
No. No. But I'm hopeful for Thailand.
You're hopeful for Thailand?
Yes.
Why so?
Well, I think Thailand can recover. I believe that the Thai government has behaved with a lot of restraint. I believe that's obvious to the people that are watching. And so that's important. And the Thai people, I believe, mostly do not want war. There's only a few people that do. And if the people will give information about the few people who do and just use peaceful words and peaceful actions to, you know, in their daily lives, you're in a position to hopefully avoid continued conflict here.
What is the general picture outside of Thailand from the coverage of foreign correspondents of this incident, you think?
I believe that they think that, I mean, some of the reports I'm seeing, it looks like Thailand's on fire, which of course that's not true. It's localized. There's no state of general war, but from some of the reports, you know, it looked like mayhem in the streets. I saw one report this morning, I've forgotten the source, but it said mass rioting in Bangkok.
Looting.
That sort of thing. I mean, there was some looting, but it was limited.
Well, I expected more looting than what actually happened.
Yeah, actually, they were in a good position to loot a lot. But they did loot a little bit, but it wasn't heavy.
So a totally innocent foreigner sitting back in Florida, your hometown, reading, watching TV, listening to radios, reading blogs and internet reports, you think the picture of Thailand is as bad as what a lot of people say?
Now, I'm not back there watching the news much, so the CNN and other coverage that I'm seeing is the international coverage. So for the domestic coverage at home, I don't actually know. But I know how generally Americans are, and British as well, and I lived in Europe for 6 years. You know, anytime you see violence on the TV, it looks like the whole country, whatever country it is, is on fire. And Thai people are the same way. Because my friends see something happening in the news in Thailand about the United States, I get frantic emails, be careful, be careful. I say, no, that happened 2,000 miles away. You know?
Or maybe that's normal human reaction.
Normal human. So it's important to have that balanced coverage that does tell people that everything is localized. Foreigners are very safe in Thailand. The foreigners are not being targeted. Maybe the journalists are being targeted by somebody. I believe that might be the case, but
why this time the journalists were targeted, you think?
I would like to ask you that question. I don't know.
How do you survive as a war correspondent in such a risky situation for yourself?
Pray. You know.